podcast, where we will review this week of wrestling along with the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view that happened on Sunday just gone. My name is William, and as ever I'm joined by Luke, and we have both recently watched the sequel to the Borat movie, and I don't know about Luke, but I was very impressed with how funny it was, and I would like to recommend that to our viewers as well if they haven't already seen it. Probably one of the few good things to come out of this year of 2020, the clusterfuck of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway.
It's better kayfabe than wrestling.
Better kayfabe than wrestling. Better kept kayfabe. Jim Cornette probably loved it. So yes, wrestling then. Let's get on to the wrestling of the week. We'll start with the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. And actually, one of the better episodes of Raw I have seen to date. It was definitely actually quite entertaining. Some good matches in there. I still don't like Matt Riddle. Doesn't matter what fucking brand he's on. I don't like the guy that wrestles with no shoes, no socks. But yeah, he somehow still gets over with the crowd. Do you like Matt Riddle?
I've not really seen him. I just know he's unique because he wrestles without, shoes or socks.
Unique's definitely a word.
I like the idea of it. It's just okay.
Unique's definitely a word. Rusev used to wrestle without shoes or socks, and he used to get a lot of backstage heat for it. People didn't like wrestling with a guy in bare feet.
Well, shown by you, yeah, because you don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't like him. I like Rusev though. I like Rusev more when he puts shoes on. But yeah. So yes, Monday Night Raw opens with Alexa Bliss in the ring, welcomes the Fiend to join her. So she's standing there in a sort of Freddy Krueger style torn jumper and the pigtails that she's rocking just now. So the lights all flicker, all the Thunderdome screens go dark, and then the Fiend's music kicks in. Now I'll be honest, I have forgotten how good the Fiend's entrance actually is. The way that they've been able to take Bray Wyatt's normal music and turn it into this sort of heavy metal demonic version is pretty interesting, rather than giving the Fiend like a whole new entrance package. So he makes his way to the ring. He's still carrying about the head. I could do without the head, but he still carries about the head. Always makes me think of Al Snow when he used to carry about the mannequin's head.
Yeah.
Just a sort of weird add-on.
Nothing that we want as well.
Yeah.
Like we look at it and we're like, oh, that's cool, or like that's good for us. It's just bad. Okay.
Okay, you get a head of Bray Wyatt, but we know Bray Wyatt's alive because we see him on Firefly Funhouse. But anyway, so they both make their way to the ring. They are standing there hand in hand, just staring dead into the hard cam. It's quite entertaining. But then the Fiend's entrance slowly turns into Retribution, which are slowly becoming more interesting with the introduction of Mustafa Ali as the leader. There's a lot of sort of conspiracies as to whether or not he is actually the leader or whether or not he's just joined them. But I think what they're going for is that he is the leader. He is the sort of man behind it all.
It's not more interesting. It just makes sense. I'm not like, I'm so interested in Mustafa, or Retribution. They're still as lame as they were, like 2-3 weeks ago. It's just...
I think it's the story progression.
Yeah,
gives it a little bit of satisfaction.
Yeah, like you're interested that something's happening, but
yeah.
That something ain't right. You know what I mean? It's just so... It's just awful.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've got Retribution surrounding the ring with Ali with them. They're slapping the sort of the ring mat, the apron, trying to get the attention of the Fiend and Alexa, who continue to stare directly at the hard camera. Now for this entire segment, they're just staring directly at the camera. unfazed, unemotional, not paying attention to anyone that's around him. So I personally thought that was pretty cool looking. All of Retribution jump on the ring apron. Some of them climb inside the ring. Ali stands on the apron waiting, and then gives the signal to attack. But just as he calls for the attack, the lights cut out. We then see Retribution just standing alone in the ring, confused. They're looking about, trying to figure out where the Fiend has went. You know, what is this black magic nonsense? And then boom, the theme song for your favourite faction in the world, the Hurt Business, make their way to the ring.
What? Wait.
Not your favourite faction.
I mean, like, what is their theme again?
It's very quiet. It's like 2 chords or something played on a really...
I can see them going out to 99 Problems or something like that.
That's what you would like them to come out
Yeah.
to. What they come out to is like your bog standard WWE 2K games creator theme.
Yeah.
Where it's just like Steel number 1 or Heavy Rock number 2, something like that. They just come out to this absolute rubbish theme song, but they come out to face Retribution. That's the sort of factions that are against each other just now. Retribution versus the Hurt Business.
Only faction.
It's the only faction in the company still. So as they make their way to the ring, what I noticed is that their t-shirts, their Hurt Business t-shirts, their logos don't look like they would survive a wash. The logos look to be the first thing that would either fade or just tear off if you put them in the washing machine. Just quite poor looking, and again it just says on the front the Hurt Business, and then on the back I'm in. Like a t-shirt designed by Yoda when they do the sentences the wrong way around. I don't know, it's very strange. The Hurt Business have not piqued my interest whatsoever.
It's like,
ever.
or do they want people to join the Hurt Business, or are they just trying to tell people that they're in the Hurt Business? It's like, neither works, because you're like, oh, you're in the Hurt Business, great, very threatening.
Cool.
or like, wait, you do you want me to join this? Is this like a trend? It's just,
Yeah.
what?
Are you recruiting me, or are you just telling me that you are in this secret society?
Just have a logo of someone being hurt or something. Yeah, it's the Hurt Business, you know, like, just be casual about it.
Yeah, it's just strange that they've not really... There's no sort of story to them. And I don't mean like storyline or anything. There's no backstory to the group. They just have become the Hurt Business. And Bobby Lashley, that we find out on Hell in a Cell that we'll get to, that Bobby Lashley is the CEO of the Hurt Business, as if it is like an actual company, like a registered company.
Why Bobby?
I don't know, because he's the US champ maybe. They
Yeah,
don't
but-
really explain it. They just say that he is the CEO.
But it's spearheaded by MVP.
Yeah, I don't know if he is the founder then, or I mean, what's Shelton Benjamin? Is he like the administrator? Is he the receptionist?
He's like an accountant or something. Like,
he's the finance team.
He's the assistant that gets the coffee in the morning, and
Well, that'd be Cedric Alexander.
oh yeah,
'Cause he's in there too.
oh god, yeah.
Yeah, it's strange because it's not a business, but they've designated like company roles, especially to Bobby Lashley. Anyway, as I was saying, back on track. So the Hurt Business chase away Retribution. I thought it was
Somehow.
yeah, I thought it was an okay, not impressive but not shite entrance to the season premiere of Raw. We do get Booker T just on the Thunderdome. Just checking it out.
Good guy.
Yeah, just making sure that it all works or something. But yeah, Retribution is built up as this group of unsatisfied, disgruntled hooligans or anarchists, not hooligans. They were anarchists, now they've turned into hooligans. They're like demoted themselves, and they're being made to look like shitbags against the Hurt Business.
Like, they don't feel like they're dissatisfied. They feel like they're babies or something.
Yeah.
Like, they could have went like really well in a good direction, because they can't be unhappy with the company if they've never really been in the company, and they can't just like be signed if they are supposed to be an anarchy group. So why not? Why not make them a filter for the audience? Why not make them the audience?
Yeah.
And like the audience tell them what to do, and or like just be the voice for the audience. I don't know. It feels so just I don't know, bland, and just they didn't think it through.
I feel that ever since they, air quotes, sold out and all signed contracts for Monday Night Raw, they've really downgraded themselves as to what they could have been, what they were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so let's here's a sort of an example, right? Here's something to food for thought. The first time we see Retribution is on that infamous episode of SmackDown where they chainsawed the ring ropes and shit like that. Well, the first time is when they were firebombing a generator on Monday Night Raw. So the second time we see them, there's like 12, 13, 14 members of this group without a name, chainsawing the ring ropes, chasing away security, chasing away the announcers team. Where were those 13 people when the Hurt Business chased them away on Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
Like, Retribution basically went down to 5 people, 4 guys, 1 woman, and one of those guys is Mustafa Ali. But where did the rest of them go? There used to be loads.
They had this mysterious element with like their clothing wasn't personalised or stylised in like a wrestling kind of mask way.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very real, like what you'd see at a robbery or like a heist. You're like, oh wow, these guys are here to do something to the company, cause a ruckus or something. And now they've been given personalities, they've been signed because apparently they can afford to keep them all like on both shows, and that's like, so then what's the point?
Yeah.
You intrigue us by showing us how we feel, and I doubt anyone at the time liked WWE really when like Retribution was about. So like they expressed us, and now they it's like they're trying to fill in Kane and Undertaker. They don't have those kind of guys anymore apart from the Fiend or Aleister Black, who's a failure now. That is a failed project. I don't know.
Definite failure.
It's just disappointing.
It is very disappointing, and I think as well, now that they have these personalities, they're just
they've lost personality.
They've lost personality. They were given names and they've lost who they were. I think what I would have done, right, is I would never have revealed Retribution. I would have had it as a long running storyline where you don't sign them to work on your show, you don't put them on your payroll to work on your show. What you do is you have them arrested for vandalising your arena, but then it turns out that on, say for example Monday Night Raw, 6 people of Retribution are arrested, but then on SmackDown another 6 attack the show, and then you just have this sort of Dark Order-esque group where, okay, 10 of the Dark Order are wrestlers, but the Dark Order isn't just wrestling. The Dark Order can be anyone who feels that they are not reaching their true potential and believes that the Dark Order group can help them get to that. It's not just about wrestling. Like, you could have members of Retribution continuously showing up on Raw, continuously showing up on SmackDown for weeks and weeks and weeks, harassing the show, harassing the superstars, injuring people and ruining title matches and stuff like that. But it just feels very silly to say, right, okay, you've destroyed the ring ropes, they're expensive, you've graffitied over the walls, that's expensive, you firebombed a generator, that's expensive, would you like to work for us? But continue to be villains, but be our villains.
It makes WWE look weak.
Yes.
So like, if you want to hold the WWE title, or yeah, you're gonna have to try and win it from a company that colours in anarchists vandalising their property by giving them money.
Yeah.
That is
paying
like,
the anarchists
that
to
is-
destroy their building.
yeah, that is like the kid who like knows that shit's gonna go down at lunchtime, so he gives them their money,
Yeah.
their lunch money.
He just submits.
Yeah, so it's, who would want to join that company? Like, who feels as if that's a cool thing? Like Vince especially. Like Vince is always known to be a villain
Mm-hmm.
because he's the top guy.
Yeah, the
He
Mr.
contro-
the Mr. McMahon
Yeah.
character as well.
He so many moments where he's been the power, and he was Retribution.
Mm-hmm.
But now Retribution are just a bunch of hooligans that got a job even though they shouldn't get the job. And then you're just like, okay, right, so trained wrestlers, no, but me being a bad guy, yeah, it breaks kayfabe without you realising it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous how people like this. It's ridiculous. Like, I've seen people on like Instagram and all that going like, oh wow, like Retribution, so fresh and all that. It's because it's fresh doesn't mean it's good.
Is it really fresh? I mean,
Yeah, it's just not good.
it's just the NWO, except none of them show their faces. Well, apart from now they do. But even at that, people still don't really know who they are.
The reason why NWO worked is because it was Hulk Hogan and other superstar wrestlers. So like you'd be like, oh well, of course they would have power. They're the biggest faces in wrestling. But Retribution is just a bunch of faceless people. So that would never work.
Mm.
That's like exactly why they would go for like John Cena NWO, because he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He would have the power, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if that's what people would say to me, oh NWO, like, you just don't like Retribution. They're like same thing for NWO. Well, it's the NWO. It's Hulk Hogan and all that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It gets on my nerves.
Well, speaking of getting on nerves, after the segment we've just spoke about with Retribution and the Hurt Business, we have a vignette from Matt Riddle. It sounds like he's promoting himself on like a dating site or something like that. That's all it sounds like. Like he starts off with like, "Bro, I'm Matt Riddle. I'm an NXT superstar," and he goes on and on and on, and he talks about how he came up to the main roster, but he's not talking about it as if it's like an underdog story or a motivational story. He's talking about it as if he's just talking about himself. Like, to me, it seemed as if there was no meaning to it, which is why it seemed like a dating app thing he was doing. Like, he was basically talking about what he likes and what he doesn't like, and it was stupid. But it ended quite quickly, which I liked. And then we come back into the ring, and Bobby Lashley is taking on T-Bar.
I thought it was T-Bone for some reason. Yeah, T-Bar.
T-Bone, T-Dog, T-Bar. So T-Bar. The match doesn't start with anything special, but Lashley does look quite good, considering how big he is, and stuff. So he does look quite good. T-Bar then tags out to. Now, I thought the commentators called him Flapjack, which I was like, that's a bit stupid, but his name's Slapjack, so it's not that far off. Like, why not just call him Flapjack?
It's still stupid.
Yeah. So it's Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley takes on 3 members of Retribution by himself as the Hurt Business just sort of watch him. So as I say, T-Bar tags out to Flapjack. Mace then gets tagged in. The Fiend appears on the Titantron to distract Retribution. T-Bar gets held up in a what does Bobby Lashley call this thing? Is it the Hurt Locker? And it's like a full Nelson where he holds you from behind. I think he calls it the Hurt Locker.
Something stupid.
Yeah, something stupid. So anyway, T-Bar taps. Now T-Bar's the big guy.
Yeah, he's the
You wouldn't
dog.
you wouldn't have T-Bar tap. You would have somebody else tap. But T-Bar taps. The Fiend then appears on the apron next to Ali, attacks him, and it ends with the Fiend taking on T-Bar and hitting him with her sister Abigail, and that closes off that segment. Good, thank God. I mean, it started off so well with that really cool sort of moment with the Fiend and Alexa Bliss just staring off into the distance while Retribution closed in on them. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, it went on for two minutes or something like that, and it was just them. Like, I don't think Alexa Bliss blinked either. Just staring directly at the camera. I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah, Harley Quinn and Joker.
That still annoys me. But they haven't made that reference, and WWE haven't made that reference. That was just fans.
I don't think they're allowed to make that reference, but
Fingers crossed they never make that reference and it doesn't annoy me directly on TV. So we then have AJ Styles. He comes out with Jordan Omogbehine.
good name for wrestling, really rolls off the tongue, you know.
Yeah, it's like that Cabodato, the guy from Raw Underground. Cabodato, Yabba Dabba.
Good thing we don't need to talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
Forget about that in like 2 weeks.
Yep, that's done. So AJ Styles comes out with Jordan Omagbehine, who is a basketball player turned WWE developmental. The guy is like 7.5 foot tall, man. The guy's fucking huge.
Yeah.
But AJ Styles is small, so standing next to him, it looks as if like the Great Khali standing next to
Rey Mysterio.
I'm going to go Hornswoggle, but yeah,
Yeah,
Rey Mysterio. So AJ gets in the ring and he shoots on Seth, basically saying about how, you know, Monday Night Raw didn't need a Messiah, but now it doesn't have a Messiah. Who does the show belong to? It's the face that runs the place, AJ Styles. Yeah, I like AJ Styles. He's definitely slowed down since when he first debuted, and
Well, okay, that was 3 years ago, William. He's
yeah, but he's been in constantly. He's been in good storylines. He's been in good teams. He had a massive feud against John Cena that went on for like a year.
Is Jeff Hardy still?
Jeff Hardy is on Raw
Right. Okay.
now. So AJ Styles shoots on Seth. He looks really happy to be on Raw and to be away from Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
He's just got this like glimpse of hope behind his eyes. Like he's really pleased to where he is. He doesn't have to see Heyman again. He gets cut off by the one and only Matt Riddle, who comes out, and as he makes his way to the ring, he flips off his shoes.
Well, okay, right.
He comes out in shoes and then kicks them off before he gets in the ring.
Let's be objective here. What we can obviously see, AJ Styles is bringing up new talent.
Matt Riddle's not new talent anymore.
Well, he was in NXT, right? And
Yeah.
he's been very, like, unknown. Well, not unknown, but very, like, he hasn't been given many opportunities. You know what I mean? So he's bringing up talent, okay, that obviously other people like. So I think I think it's good. I personally don't really watch Matt Riddle stuff, but you know, he's not doing anything bad, is it? Objectively.
Just now in this segment we're talking about, no. But he was storylined with King Corbin.
Yeah, but
who's
King Corbin
just
doesn't
poison.
count. He doesn't that doesn't doesn't count. Corbin had his chance.
Corbin had his chance to lose his weight and not go bald, and he failed to do both.
Did he have a WrestleMania match with Kurt Angle? Something like
He
that?
retired Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that was
He retired Kurt Angle and
not John Cena.
received death threats because of it.
Yeah, not John Cena or like The Undertaker or something. Just
Christ, I mean, have Stone Cold come back and just stunner Kurt Angle and pin him?
yeah.
They don't have to have a proper match. They're both old. They're both way past their prime, but they had the biggest rivalry with each other.
Mhm.
Or who did he had a big rivalry with? Somebody in ECW, who I'm pretty sure is not doing anything. I can't remember who it is. It's not Taz. I can't remember. But yeah, like there's so many other people that could have had this big famous retirement match, and they gave it to Baron Corbin. And
he's a bad guy.
Yes, and you know that thing Undertaker always said, where if he was going to retire, he wanted to retire in such a way that it really pushed his opponent, like skyrocketed them to the main event and to the main title scene and all that. Like he wanted this person to receive the biggest push from the fans after retiring the Undertaker. That was never ever going to happen with something like Baron Corbin.
No.
He was pushed down.
Yeah.
He was pushed so far down.
It's like Kurt Angle, man, like
I know.
such a good wrestler. And yeah.
So
I think that may be the reason why I don't like Baron Corbin, but
it's definitely one of the reasons I don't like Baron Corbin. So Matt Riddle versus AJ Styles. The match can't start because Jordan Omegbahin won't leave the ring. The referee is asking him very nicely to leave, and he keeps saying, he's like, listen, I'm just doing my job, and I'm going to have to start counting because they'll give me into trouble if I don't start counting. Can you just leave the ring? And this Jordan guy's just staring dead into his soul. So the referee puts his hand up and he goes 1, 2, and he's very shaky. You can hear it in his voice. He's speaking so loudly that you can hear him in the camera, and he goes to count 3 and Jordan just grabs this guy's wrist. And the guy starts to like grimace because it must be like, because the guy's hand covers the referee's entire wrist. Like it encloses the entire wrist. So he's holding onto the wrist, and AJ's like, right, okay, let him go, man. So Jordan lets go of the referee. The referee's like, I'm sorry, you need to leave. I can't ring the bell until you leave. And then he asks AJ to help, and AJ's like, he doesn't work for me. He doesn't. I don't know who he is. Like
he just came out.
Apparently, he just came. I mean, I'm pretty sure AJ's just playing the heel, but he was like, "What do you want me to do? I don't know the guy." And then the refs, but he came out. He came out with you. Can you just ask him to leave? I can't. I'm trying. I'm just trying to do my job. I just want to start the match. So eventually,
Matt Riddle has to.
Matt Riddle's just standing in a corner.
No, but like storyline, he has to face off AJ.
Yeah.
And this big guy who doesn't give.
There's just this big black guy who just won't move, just like a building.
Right.
Just won't move.
Okay.
So Matt Riddle's in the corner, sort of building himself up, playing with his toes or whatever. And eventually Jordan does leave the ring, and he goes over the top rope, which is just always cool to see a big tall guy doing that, like Big Show, Braun Strowman, Great Khali, anyone that can just put all their body weight on the top rope that it basically touches the bottom rope and then lift their legs over. Always cool to see tall guys like that. So yeah, we don't get any wrestling from Jordan. He just leaves, stands at ringside. AJ and Matt Riddle clash. The match was okay, nothing special. It does end in a nice Styles clash where AJ gets Matt Riddle up, and Matt Riddle's got such long hair that AJ almost stands on it.
Great.
That would sting to stand on it, hold you in the position for a Styles clash, and then drop you as you. Oh, that would sting.
Here's a hypothetical situation. Has anyone pulled out such a large chunk of someone's hair in wrestling where you could see it bleeding and all that? Because that sounds like a feasible thing that could happen.
I'm sure that's probably something that happens in like CZW or ECW, or had happened in ECW.
Right.
I don't think it's ever happened in WWF television.
I meant just wrestling in general.
Wrestling in general, most likely.
But like by accident.
Most likely.
Right.
You ever heard of New Jack?
No.
Right, New Jack is a very violent wrestler. He's amazingly still alive. New Jack went into a match with a guy who. I'm trying to think. There's different terminology for it. Spudding someone is like proper punching them, like
right.
Close fist punching, not like forearm kayfabe, like proper punching them, as if it was like MMA or something like that. So New Jack got in the ring with this guy who was spudding him, or hitting him hard, or cashing receipts is another terminology for it.
That's a stupid. I like spudding, but cash and receipts.
So it's like if somebody hits you properly, you cash your receipt by hitting them back properly. It's a strange one. So anyway, New Jack is getting beaten up in the ring by this guy who's just punching him square in the face, square in the nose, square in the jaw. New Jack then whips him into the ring, the ropes, and then clotheslines him out of the ring, climbs out with him, draws a knife, and then stabs this guy 9 times. Not kayfabe.
Okay, I'm not being racist. Is New Jack black?
New Jack is black.
New Jack. I know this wrestler. Yes.
New Jack is a violent
He
man.
gets angry all the time, and
yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
New Jack.
Oh, New Jack.
New Jack has murdered 4 people and openly admits during interviews, he's like, shit man, it was either me or them. okay, New Jack. New
Is he not arrested?
He was arrested. He's done time, but he hasn't he's not turned a corner or anything like that. Everything he has done in his life, he feels is justified. So this guy was punching him in the face, so he feels it was justified in stabbing him. He was arrested for that as well. And
Hopefully he doesn't wrestle.
He was arrested for stabbing the man 12 times, and at the court case, New Jack was like, Your Honour, that didn't happen. He's all, Mr. Jack, do you have other evidence to say otherwise? And he's like, no, I stabbed him, but I only stabbed him 9 times, I counted. And the judge was like, okay.
What, just the jury listening to that as well.
I know. So we've got Congosaurus with us, as always. Glad to have you, man. Sorry that this week's episode is just a couple of days late, but we figured why not do Hell in a Cell as well. Congosaurus is saying New Jack also battered an underage guy in ECW. That's very true. There was a guy, I can't remember the kid's name. The kid died shortly after, but the kid was 16 or 17, but pretended he was 24, and because he was such a large, hefty gentleman, nobody ever questioned it. And this is before you had to provide documents and sign waivers and shit. So New Jack proper beat this kid. New Jack made this kid bleed in front of his dad, who was in the audience. And the kid did say to New Jack before the match started, he was like, I want to try a suplex, I want to do a splash, can you open me up, I want to bleed. Bleeding would be pretty cool. And New Jack was like, shit man, I'll make you bleed. And bleed he did. The guy was beaten up so bad that he did not want to go back into wrestling ever again, slumped into depression, and then eventually died. I can't recall if it was suicide, but I imagine if the guy hadn't died at that point, he would have definitely killed himself. And New Jack,
I can see New Jack's scars on his forehead as well.
That's one of his sort of trademark things. Is scarred up forehead. He's had a proper hard life as well. His childhood was absolutely miserable.
I doubt his childhood is going to be good.
It's worthwhile watching the dark side of the ring, the life and crimes of New Jack. If anybody gets a chance to, it's definitely worthwhile watching it, and it's hard to watch because it does show you the footage of him stabbing that guy at the wrestling match.
He brought out a book this year, the New Jack Memoir of a Pro Wrestling Extremist.
I would not be adverse to reading that.
No,
I think it would be a tough read at certain chapters, but he spent a lot of time with Jim Cornette and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, so I'd be okay reading that. Pretty cool. Anyway, back to current day wrestling, which involves no stabbings, no beating up underage children, forcing them to take their own lives. We've got Drew McIntyre, who has a lovely little recap of his feud with Randy Orton. A nice promo from Drew afterwards with I think it's Charlie Caruso. I always forget the backstage people's name. She's the really short one. She's like 3 foot something. And he says that the hell is custom designed for those who have darkness within them. Randy thrives in the cell because of his darkness, but so will Drew. He then says that he will look. He's wearing a black shirt, black trousers, and a black tie, and he keeps getting asked, "Drew, are you going to a funeral?" And he looks at the floor, then he looks at the camera, and he goes, "Maybe I am."
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you were trying to be dramatic. I kind of get that, but okay, there you go.
It works.
It works. Do you know what? It works. And it is burned within. It is burned into my memory of Drew McIntyre doing the "I've come home," and then standing on a hilltop. Lesnar.
I just want to see more of that from him.
I would love.
Kind of,
Yeah.
like.
I'd love to
energy.
see the director's commentary in that. So, yep, as I say, we got a nice wee promo from Drew. He mentions that Randy will have a promo later on tonight, and you can bet your ass that Drew will be there. So there we go. There's the surprise taken out of it. It does get better. We'll cover that promo in a bit. Lana. She takes on Asuka, for the Raw belt. I thought this was going to be Hell in a Cell, but no, they've decided that it's such a shit idea they're going to do it on the TV.
Yeah.
So Lana ends up tapping.
Great.
So there you go. There's your opportunity, Lana.
A real competitor.
Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler come out. They attack Lana. Baszler moves on to attack Asuka. Asuka gets away. Lana gets smashed through the announce desk. After that, Jax issues a challenge to any team that wants her and Baszler's belts. A proper shit show of a match ensues between Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke. It was a horrible time filler. That's all it was. Probably the best part of this whole segment is when the camera cut to the announcers who were just sat there with no desk, because Lana was smashed through it, so you just see like Samoa Joe swinging in his chair from side to side, holding the paper on his knees and stuff like that. That was probably the best part, is just seeing the announcers all sitting deskless. We have Elias doing a live performance of his one of his singles from the Universal Truth. What is an album that dropped what day today, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, so his album dropped yesterday, The Universal Truth. The inspiration for this album is when Jeff Hardy ran him over during a drunk driving incident. Completely forgot that happened, but it's because it shows you a clip. Oh, it's fantastic. So we get a brief recap of Elias walking home, or walking back out of the arena, or back to the arena, or whatever, and he gets run over by a car. We then see Elias being tied to a stretcher, taken into the back of an ambulance, Jeff Hardy being arrested.
Is this kayfabe?
This is kayfabe.
Okay, because
Jeff Hardy does have multiple DUIs, but this is kayfabe.
Right. Okay, because I believed what he said there. I thought that was real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone was just recording this entire segment.
Yeah, I was like, when you said, "Oh, this has been recorded," I was like,
Yeah.
what?
So Elias gets taken away into a stretcher. That's why he's not been present for such a long period of time. Jeff Hardy, the recap that they show you, Jeff Hardy looks proper emotional, like as if he's just run over Matt. It's just Elias Samson. So yep, quick recap. Reminded me how funny that entire segment was, and then I had started having flashbacks of him and Sheamus feuding, where Sheamus kept trying to get him to sign up for AA and do like drug testing and stuff like that, and peeing into a cup.
Oh, no.
And then Jeff Hardy threw the cup of piss in Sheamus's face, and Sheamus had his mouth opened, and he spent ages like trying to scratch pee off of his tongue.
No, that's not.
Yeah. So.
Wow. See.
Elias sets up his band to perform this single, and it was good. It was a good song, you know. The music was good. The performance was good. Nothing too jazzy. Nothing to interrupt him. Although the planted audio of the audience cheering.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible.
It's always horrible.
Yeah. What's even worse is they had a planted audio for encore chants.
Oh no.
So Elias
Where
walks...
did they get that? Like Rockstar or something?
I don't know, man. They probably just have like Kevin Dunn shouting encore, and then they change the pitch and they like loop it over each other. It's just one person shouting encore. So, yep, he finishes the song. The planted audio shouts encore. He then comes back, but he's already handed his guitar to someone off camera. So he asks for the guitar back, and the person has his back to Elias, plays. I say plays. He's clearly not playing the guitar, but they play this like rock power chord.
Right.
But it's clearly just audio that they've put over this guy. So Elias is like, right, come on, the band is called Elias. I'm Elias. This is my band. This is my show. Can I get my guitar? And this hooded gentleman removes the hood, and it's Jeff Hardy.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. He swings the guitar with so much force that I genuinely feared for Elias' safety. But Elias clearly jumps out the way, like, with plenty of time, and Jeff hits the microphone and the mic stand, and the thing just goes like fucking right into the Thunderdome.
Yeah, I saw how
Hits it proper hard, man,
Yeah,
like
so,
scary hard.
oh.
But then he starts shouting at Elias, and it's like,
You know that
he thinks you hit him with a car. He has every right to be angry. Yeah, so Elias is the heel, apparently, even though he's angry at Jeff because he believes Jeff hit him with a car. And everyone else should be of that belief as well. Like, they never found out who actually done it.
So instead of like just Jeff Hardy trying to go, hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't do it, but I got you something anyway. Just
Yeah.
it was a nice gift, and then Elias go, no, I think it was you, and then he turns out, no, just Jeff Hardy wants to attack him for no reason
Yeah.
during his song.
Yeah, like, Elias has every right to be angry at this, and
and
Jeff Hardy trying to decapitate him with a guitar.
surely like it's so stupid. He's just thinking about that.
So
Who wrote this?
I'm not sure who wrote it. I don't think it's written. I think it's just like, remember that episode of South Park where it's like the manatees write for episodes of Family Guy by picking like balls out of it. I think that's how Raw is written. But Congosaurus is just jumping in to say that it's funny that the commentators kept saying they don't know if it was Hardy or not, when clearly they mentioned that the suspect had pale skin and red hair. I wonder who that could be. So, yep. Jeff Hardy is shouting at Elias, who's cowering in fear after being attacked by, after almost being hit full force by an electric guitar. Jeff Hardy screaming, "It wasn't me. Why are you angry at me? It wasn't me." And Elias is like, "Okay, just please don't hit me with a guitar."
I like the idea of Elias being like a heel, but
it
doesn't work here.
Yeah, like, I don't mind them being a heel, but it's not even like heels are always supposed to feel justified by their actions, but heels always know that they're heels.
Yeah.
Whereas Elias genuinely seems like, okay, I'm angry because you hit me with a car while you were intoxicated. And Jeff's like, no, you can't be angry because it wasn't me. And then Elias is like, well, I don't know who else it was, and it very likely seems to be you. So, that's my rage.
Just bring back 3-man band, and then Elias just get really jealous because they like him more, and then make him a heel. Easy.
Miz is then backstage having a moan, talking about how he doesn't understand why Mandy called him petty. He saved her from Otis, and in his court case on Friday Night SmackDown, he'll save the Money in the Bank contract from Otis too. We'll get to that. So
why not just like say offensive stuff to the Miz and let him just freak out and make a story out of that?
Yeah, like we did with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
It's so much better. So Tucker appears behind John Morrison and The Miz and says that he will beat them in a tag match. and then the Miz is like, how your tag partner's drafted to SmackDown? And he's like, well, I'll find somebody.
Great.
Okay, right. I'm not. It's not even one of these things where it's like, oh, who's going to be Tucker's tag team partner? I forgot that this was a thing until the match happened, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that happened earlier on.
Tucker and Carter.
Yeah, Tucker and Carter. Oh god, man, such a buried team, Heavy Machinery.
Oh yeah, now I have to split them up.
Yeah. So we then have the 2-day, seeing as we're on.
Is that what I call them, or is that?
No, that's just what I'm.
Fair enough.
They're still saying that they are the New Day, and Big E is representing the New Day on the blue brand.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather they didn't do that. I would rather they just call themselves Woods and Kingston, or Xavier and Kofi. Like save the New Day title for when they're all together again.
No, but like then it builds up like, okay, we're gonna see our friend Big E representing us. Oh no, he's turned on us. So it creates an expectation.
Oh, actually, yep. I never actually considered that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it creates a good expectation.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. I can get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So yep, they come out and they talk about how shite 2020's been. They're then interrupted by Sheamus, who I don't know if he's putting on an accent or if he's taking off his American sort of twang, but his Irish accent is tremendous. Like, it's so strong, and it's so strong to such a point where he says that they are. He says now that the New Day have been split, user divided, and then Kofi looks at Xavier like, what? He goes, yes. And now that yous are divided, yous will fall. And then Kofi again looks at Xavier Wood like, I'm sorry, English please, Sheamus. So yeah, whatever he's doing his accent, I love it.
I can't wait until the day where it's Drew and Sheamus then just shout each other in a natural accent.
And you just see the Thunderdome slowly turning off because nobody understands what they're saying.
It's just like, they can't even subtitle it, it's just so like, they're just shouting each other unintelligibly, but they understand each other.
If we can't get Sheamus and Raw together, if we can't get Sheamus and Drew together on Raw, I would like to have Sheamus unfiltered.
Yeah.
I want Sheamus to be able to swear like an Irish sailor. I want him to just go absolutely mental. I want him to start calling people.
Could have done it on Raw Underground or
exactly.
The TV show. He would be so good in like AEW.
He'd be dynamite. Oh, he'd be awesome in AEW. They would have to censor him, and I think that would make it funnier.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sheamus, it's just like bleep bleep bleep, divided bleep bleep bleep, Guinness bleep bleep bleep.
Or just like a long bleep,
like he's continuing to like shout and rant and his hand gestures and facial expressions, but all we get is for like 2 minutes. So Sheamus then challenges Kofi Kingston to a match. Xavier Woods stands ringside. Big E is on the Thunderdome, cheering them on.
Well, that's nice.
That's a nice. Do you know what? That's wholesome Big E. There we go. He's not Big Evil yet.
No.
Now, my only issue with this match, it was a good match. The two put on a pretty good match. My only issue is with Xavier Woods' performance the past 2 weeks. Why would you not give him the singles opportunity?
Yeah.
It always seems to go to either Kofi or Big E.
Just going to like the old reliable Kofi.
But we've had 2 matches over the past 2 weeks that shows how good Xavier Woods has become in his time off.
Maybe Xavier doesn't want to. Maybe he isn't ready. I don't know. I'm definitely up to seeing Xavier go up and do something.
I would like to see more Xavier with Kofi at ringside. Speaking of Big E on the Thunderdome, Mark Henry's there as well, and he's there with somebody, and I don't know who that somebody was. Just like 2 guys sitting chilling watching Thunderdome.
I thought it'd be like his wife or something. But...
No, just a guy.
Okay.
Mae Young.
Big E and
Mark Henry had sex with Mae Young.
Watching it in the background, in the backstage. I mean.
Yeah. But that bit it was wholesome to see Big E there. And he's there for the entire match, like clapping and cheering on and stuff like that. So that was good. Mark Henry, you can see, tunes out for a second. He just disappears.
Just
But
go to his
the
phone.
camera just shows you like his kitchen, and he just disappears, and then he comes back. Booker T, you don't notice until it's pointed out, and then I couldn't find them again, because it just like zooms in, and it's like, oh look, there's Booker T, and then it cuts back to the match, so you don't know where they zoomed in to see Booker T. So you're just kind of like, no.
And
I
then
don't
you're
see
missing
him.
the action in the
Yeah,
match.
you're kind of like, okay, there's an AEW t-shirt, there's NXT, there's
Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega, there's somebody holding a belt. Okay, no, I don't know where it is. So yeah,
Oh.
but it was cool to have Big E there.
There's Benoit.
There's Benoit. There's the KKK. So the match ends. Kofi gets the win. Nice wee celebration. Sheamus wanders off. Ali and Retribution are backstage. Ali reveals himself to be the hacker in a really shit promo. Like, not even a promo, like he's just talking, and he says, when I before Retribution, I was in this company showing up at untelevised events, and I knew for a fact that with one button on my smartphone I could wipe out everybody in this company. I was like, right, okay, so you're the hacker, cool.
I saw a spoiler on it on Insta, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not watching this, but
So it was just like, it was as if instead of just having you forget about the hacker or have it lead on to something else, they were like, oh shit, we had two ideas for Ali. Number one, he's the hacker. Number two, he's the leader of Retribution. Why don't we just have him do both? And he was so invested in this leader of Retribution thing that he was forced to squeeze into a really shitty promo. By the way, I'm the hacker too.
I would have liked like Hornswoggle to be the hacker or something.
Anybody else? I mean, it's a storyline you could literally give to someone else if they need a push, or if they're
Yeah.
out injured
Just
and waiting
save
to
it.
come. Jinder Mahal has been out for a whole year, man. He could be the hacker.
Yeah,
Well,
you
not
can learn
anymore,
how to
but-
hack in a year.
Yeah. People do that. So, as I was saying, I completely forgot about the Tucker trying to find a tag partner until the match happens. Miz and Morrison's come out. I do love the entrance. Pretty cool. Their big long overcoats and stuff like that, and their steampunk glasses. So Miz and Morrison come out, climb into the ring, wait for their opponent, which is Tucker. Comes out first, and he's joined by El Gran Gordo, who's just Otis in a pink lucha mask, pink pants and pink boots, and a pink cape. Otis though, like clearly it's Otis. He's got the Money in the Bank lunchbox and everything.
No, I watched this. That was not Otis.
Did you watch this bit? Well, Samoa Joe
No.
started to actually make up this Indies backstory for El Gran Gordo about how he's been watching him for like 15 years in the business and all of that.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's a new guy. I've seen him in the ring,
Todd-
in person.
Todd Phillips and Byron Saxton were not sold. They were like, no, that's Otis. That's Otis. I'm telling you, Joe, it's Otis. And Samoa Joe's like, nah, man, El Gran Gordo, I've seen the guy hundreds of times. Seen him wrestle in Mexico, seen him wrestle in Canada, seen him wrestle in Spain, seen him wrestle all over the world, man. It's El Gran Gordo.
Yeah.
It's Otis. It's Otis. He's got the same moveset as Otis. He does one lucha move which looks really difficult for a fat man like Otis to pull off, but he does it. But I think it's one of these moves where most of the work has been done by your opponent,
Yeah.
which I think makes more sense as to why it looked okay. Yeah, so Otis and Tucker pick up the win. Shit, man.
It's just
Shit.
something about fat people in wrestling that I just don't get sold on. Like,
No.
it's hard to say because there's like strong fat like Mark Henry, and then there's just like strong fat but like too fat to the point it doesn't seem like you're actually wrestling.
Doesn't seem like you should have that kind of job
Yeah.
as opposed to some of the other people who don't have that kind of job that should.
Like Ricochet.
Yeah, put Ricochet in Otis's position.
decent.
Well,
work,
actually, no. Just don't put anyone in Otis's position. Just have Ricochet doing something better than what he's doing just now.
Just like Ricochet and Miz feud would be actually pretty
That'd be
decent.
pretty good. I wouldn't mind that.
And
So the face pick up the victory. We then move on to Firefly Funhouse, which is just a quick, nice wee segment that ends with the door on the Funhouse knocking. Bray Wyatt opens the door and Alexa Bliss comes in, wearing her same little outfit that she was wearing earlier on in the show. She then waves to the camera, and Bray joins her. And then just before it goes dark, you get the little scream that you get from the Fiend, like the yeah. That wee noise. They play that wee noise. We then move on to Strowman versus Keith Lee. I said Brock Lee. Who's Brock Lee?
I don't know what Brock Lee is.
I don't know who Brock Lee is either. Braun Strowman versus Keith Lee. Not as good a match as their one last week. Again, it's two super heavyweights. Strowman gets a low blow with his head, picks up the victory.
I think you meant Brock Lesnar.
It's a Brock Lesnar. I might be thinking of Brock Lesnar. Strowman hits Keith Lee right in the nutsack. He goes down. Braun Strowman picks up the victory. Keith Lee gets up as Braun Strowman's celebrating. Keith Lee kicks him right in the testicles. And there's just ain't no faking that. There ain't no kayfabe in that. Because it's not even like camera angles, like you see it, kicks him right in the nuts. That's it. So Strowman goes down, and you can just hear as Keith Lee's shouting at him. It's like, you don't do that to me. You don't do that to me. Do you know who I am? You're nothing. I'm Keith Lee. I'm Keith Lee, bitch.
It has to be premeditated.
Yeah.
To, like,
so all the while that Keith Lee is shooting on Braun Strowman's just like like one long breath. We then have Randy Orton doing his in-cell promo. So the Hell in a Cell for this entire segment is just above the ring, and they bring it down for Randy Orton to do his special wee moment. He goes through and he's like, "Yep, I Tombstone the Undertaker there. I beat Triple H there. Beat this guy. Beat that guy. Beat this guy. Killed John Cena over there." And it was kind of cool just going down this sort of memory lane of Randy Orton's accomplishments and stuff, especially in the Cell, because they were all really good matches. He says that on Sunday at Hell in a Cell, he's going to hit Drew McIntyre with the three most dangerous letters in wrestling history: R, K, and then the bagpipes start. Drew McIntyre comes out. Randy Orton closes and locks the cell door. And he's like, "Oh man, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Come get me, come get me." Thought it was weird for Randy Orton to do that, but Drew McIntyre's like, "No, you got me. How am I supposed to get through a lock?" Oh, hold on a minute, and then he pulls out these big cutters, cuts off the lock, climbs in, shuts the door, and then they start shouting at each other, and then that was the end of the show. So we don't actually get to see what happened after.
I would be cool if they just went into a fight. And then just cut halfway through the fight, you know.
Yeah, sort of like security didn't even come out and break them up or nothing. It was just that was that. So moving on then to AEW Dynamite, seeing as that was the end of Raw.
That was a 1 hour segment in Raw.
Yeah, so Dynamite will be a little bit shorter. However, we will spend quite a lot of time talking about the Le Dinner Debonaires.
Yeah.
So.
And I think Keith Lee called himself a dragon because he likes Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, whatever it was, man. Keith Lee just started shouting stuff. So we start with, in AEW Dynamite, we start with round 1 of the 8-man elimination tournament. Wardlow versus Jungle Boy. Absolutely fantastic open to the show.
Yeah.
Like Wardlow being this big tall guy versus this wee skinny Jungle Boy. Fantastic. I thought it was going to be a squash match for a second.
No,
not at all.
Would not do it to Jungle Boy.
It went on for like 15 minutes or something. Absolutely tremendous. Wardlow's finisher is the F10, which I've never noticed what his finisher was called, and I don't know if that's got any relation to the F5 that Brock Lesnar does, because he's taller and he throws them up higher. Not sure if that is.
It's probably just like the same move but a different name.
Oh, it's the exact same move.
Yeah.
The exact same move, except he does throw them a little bit higher, but that's just because he's got the height advantage. So he hits the F10 into the ring on Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy kicks out. He then hits another F10, and Jungle Boy like looked as if he was in the air for like 2 days. Like it shows you it from the bird's eye view, and Jungle Boy just goes up, and then he keeps falling, and then you just hear boom.
Because he's small and light as well, so
Yeah.
you can get a good impact out.
Definitely, he's such a good worker as well. So yeah, fantastic opening competition to the show. We've got Moxley doing a bit of the Eddie Kingston, John Moxley build up. So we get a recap of last week where Kingston was going absolutely ape on the mic. We get to see a little bit of extra what happened after the show went off the air. So he gets Butcher and Blade to help. It's the Lucha Bros. He gets Lucha Bros to help John Moxley back to his knees, and then Keith Eddie Kingston puts the belt right in John Moxley's face, and he's like, "Look at this, you bitch! Look at this, you son of a bitch! You son of a bitch! I was your best friend, you son of a bitch!" Called him a bitch a lot. Cool, I liked it. So that's what happens after last week went off the air. John Moxley then demanded a match with Eddie Kingston. Tony Khan was like, "Right, cool, full gear. You've got it. What's your stipulation?" And John Moxley chooses an I Quit match.
Ooh.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
Very John Moxley-esque.
Full Gear is looking like a good pay-per-view.
Side note,
Mhm.
John Moxley himself has said that he is carrying wrestling through lockdown. And I just wanted to see your thoughts on that.
I believe that. I could believe that.
Okay.
I would definitely say that AEW is carrying wrestling promotions through the lockdown. But if you were to choose a single wrestler, I would probably go Moxley as well. Cody would probably say Cody, but I would say Moxley.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. No, okay, right, you didn't have a quote. I thought you had the quote. But yeah, just an additional.
Does it even seem like a character thing to say? It just seems like John Moxley sitting there in his lounge trousers,
And he's just like,
and he's just like, "Do you know what? I think I'm carrying wrestling." And then his wife is like, "Yeah, do you know what, John, you are?"
It's really cool how he jumps from Dean Ambrose,
Mm-hmm.
very mid card, to like basically the most well known wrestler at
Yeah.
the moment.
He's almost held that. I nearly said he's almost held that belt for a full year, but I'm
No.
not actually sure what the number is.
I would say like 10, like 9 months of it.
It's-
That kind
yeah.
of area.
Anyway, John Moxley,
Because
guy's cool.
how many years has Dynamite been out? It's like been a year.
Dynamite has only been a year. You had Chris Jericho.
Le Champion has
Yeah,
had
yeah.
it for
Le
like
Champion won it from Kenny Omega, and then John Moxley won it from Le Champion. So he's probably held it for like 8 months.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
something
what I'd
like
say.
that.
You did have Le Champion did have the title for quite a bit. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So we move on then to the next round one matchup. We've got Sonny Kiss versus Kenny Omega. Now last week we showed the image of the eight men that were involved in this tournament, and instead of Sonny Kiss it was Joey Janela. Joey Janela unfortunately came in contact with someone who tested positive
Yeah.
for COVID-19, so he is currently isolating until he gets his tests done. So Sonny Kiss took over. Sonny Kiss comes out, does her entrance. My notes were all messed up. I kept referring to Sonny Kiss as him or his. So Sonny Kiss comes out, does her entrance, climbs into the ring. Two ladies emerge from the back holding brooms, and in sort of scantily clad bikinis. They do a little dance. Then Kenny Omega's music hits, and this sheet that had Kenny Omega's silhouette behind it is pulled away, and he's standing there. Comes out. At least I think he looked really cool.
Yeah. Kenny Omega is like a naturally cool looking person.
Yeah.
He may not be like the best in commentary, but like I'm sure you've seen this photo of him just like in the ring with sunglasses on. He's like leaning against the ropes and all that. It's
I
just-
think that was his Bullet Club time.
Yeah,
as well,
I was gonna say that. He's just a cool looking guy, I'd say.
I would definitely agree with that. Now, he gets into the ring. He very respectfully shakes hands with Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss is like, right, okay. Starts to go around the crowd, building them up and stuff. She's like, right, cool, let's get things started, let's see, woo, here we go. She turns round, Kenny Omega hits her straight away with a V-trigger, which is just a fucking knee to the face.
Is Sonny Kiss a her? Because we established...
Sonny Kiss is gender fluid, but referred to as a her.
Right.
Referred to as a her on commentary.
Okay.
I don't know how Sonny Kiss prefers to be referred to. It's kind of dangerous territory. You're going to piss off somebody, but commentary say her, and they don't get pulled up for it. So I'm going to say her.
Okay. Go ahead.
Kenny Omega hits her with a mean V trigger, which is just an absolute fucking knee to the face. There's no, that's it. That's basically all it is. He then lines up Sonny Kiss for the one winged angel, which is where on the shoulder.
Is that she/he?
He/she.
So like use either or.
Yeah, either or's fine. So yep, get Sonny Kiss up in the shoulder, did the one winged angel, 1, 2, 3, pin. So the match was maybe a minute and a half in total. Sonny Kiss sells the injury so well. He/she gets up absolutely scunnered, no idea where she is, and again Kenny Omega sportsmanship holds her arms up and is like, you know what, I won the match, but Sonny Kiss is also a winner. And Sonny Kiss is like fucking concussed, like So yeah, that was funny. I wasn't expecting it to be such a fast match. I just knew for a fact that Kenny Omega was winning that one.
Well, it's Kenny Omega, like top guys in the company, but yeah, I think I've. Okay, I thought I had the video on my phone now.
Okay.
Of Sonny Kiss's match, so I could just give a bit of reaction and description of it. But yeah,
I would definitely recommend watching this week's Dynamite. Just if you haven't seen it the whole way through, if you've seen clips and segments, I had to go back and watch the whole thing for anyone out there. We get Cody and Arn Anderson arrive in a limo. Dasha comes up and asks Cody about his weight gain. He says that it was time for him to move up to heavyweight. He is AEW's giant killer after beating Archer, Hager and Mr. Brody Lee in the past. He mentions that he'll face Orange Cassidy next week for the TNT title because everybody feels that Orange Cassidy deserves a rematch after losing by a second in the timeout.
See, the thing is, like, Cody can keep the same character, just like lose the hell.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's not even like he never went back to proper blonde, because he's changed it. He's went back and it's like yellow.
Yeah.
Like the side of his hair looks like piss colour.
Yeah, no.
And then the rest of it's white, which is what it was.
And he's called the American Nightmare as well. It's, I don't know.
He's starting to wear a lot more clothes that cover the neck tattoo.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder why. So we then get Eddie Kingston's side of the Mox and Kingston build. He says that the world should be excited for Phoenix versus Penta, and then Butcher and Blade in the 4-team matchup against Private Party, Silvers and Reynolds and the Young Bucks to find out who faces FTR at Full Gear for the tag titles. He then says that Butcher and Blade will beat them, and FTR will go back to their old bosses and beg for their job back. Their old bosses being Vince and WWE, so that was just a nice wee throw that in there. Eddie claims that he had to turn into this bitter, whiny snake character because it's the only way he was getting anywhere in wrestling. He wasn't always the good guy, but he was never this sort of whiny person that he is just now. John Moxley refers to him as a bitch. So Eddie's like, listen man, I had to become this because after I became this character, I've got a title shot. I've had 2 title shots. This is the character that I need to be in order to get ahead. He says that he accepts the I Quit match at Full Gear. If Moxley wants him to quit, he'll need to go to a dark, dark place, and Eddie lives there. And then he says the last sentence quietly, like he whispers it, and everyone's like, "Ooh, what is he going to say?" It's really cool. Eddie Kingston, fantastic. Now, W Factor champion. This is a wee nomination here in the runnings. Round 1 of the 8-man tournament, we've got Rey Fenix versus Penta, L0M. I personally gave this match 5-star. And a lot of other fans did. I don't know what Dave Meltzer rated it, who is like, I don't really care much for Dave Meltzer's opinions because he's just a journalist. He has been. It has been proven that he has been swayed with cash endorsements and stuff like that. So I don't really take his word as gospel, but a lot of people do. They say that Dave Meltzer is the wrestling journalist, like Bible. What he writes is truth and shit like that. So I don't know what rating he gave this match, but I'm giving it 5 stars, and I know there's lots of other people out there that agree. We put up a post on social media about the 8-man tournament. What we wanted people to tell us was what they thought the outcome was going to be, what matches they were most excited for, and the storyline. The matches are done, the first round matches are done, we are still getting comments about how good the Rey Fenix match was. Everyone believes that Kenny's winning it. Some people are angry that we have decided Kenny's winning it, even though we haven't made that decision. They think that we're AEW, which I can assure you is not the case.
We are the wrestling factor.
We are the wrestling factor.
So maybe we do have a say in things.
Our episodes have definitely had impacts on certain shows.
And Kenny's going.
Yeah, Kenny's going. There we go. It's written in stone. Fuck you guys. So yeah, a lot of people believe that Kenny's going to win, but they were most excited for Hangman versus Wardlow. That's one of the big ones that people are talking about. And Rey versus Penta. And as I say, the match is done now. The result is in. But we are still getting people talking about how good the match was. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool. Kingston joins the commentary team, which he doesn't say a whole lot, but that isn't even a bad thing, because what he does say is absolutely tremendous. Before the match starts, JR says to Eddie Kingston, "What's your experience in I Quit matches?" He says, "JR, are you questioning my experience in wrestling?" He goes, "I'm not questioning you, I'm just asking you what's your experience in I Quit matches." He goes, "My experience is I've never quit a thing in my life." He goes, "Right, okay, moving on." And then Eddie Kingston's like, "No, not moving on. I was once hit in the back of the head with a bat. Do you know what I did?" And JR's like, "No, what did you do?" He goes, "I got up, brushed it off, and I found the kid and I stabbed him in the face with a pen." And JR just goes like that. Okay. So, yeah. I love Eddie Kingston. He's currently one of my favourite mic workers in all of wrestling just now.
He is brutal.
He is brutal. Excalibur, who is the commentator that wears a lucha mask on AEW, he talks about how the early career for the Lucha Bros, they were always facing each other, no matter what promotion they were in. They were feuding with each other. Both brothers. Nobody knew they were brothers for such a long time. Their early career, that was their secret. And now that everybody knows they're brothers, having them face off against each other, they walk in with a story.
Yeah.
Before they've done anything, they walk in with a story. So, as I say, match itself, I gave it 5 stars. Absolutely tremendous. Very well choreographed, but not in a dance way like Ricochet versus Will Ospreay.
Is it like in a fight way?
It's in like a fight way.
Yeah.
So it's very well performed. At one point, Rey Fenix is pretending to be injured. I think he did suffer an injury, but he's pretending to be injured. Penta runs off the ropes, comes back at him, and Rey Fenix goes for like a Hurricane Rana, which is your legs on their shoulders and then you spin them round, except instead of spinning them round and flipping Penta, he turns it into a Canadian, not a Canadian destroyer, he turns it into a destroyer.
What's a destroyer?
That might be something you have to YouTube or Google. It's hard to. It's like imagine a pile driver, right?
Okay.
Except you flip the person over you. Normally this is done from a top rope position or a middle rope position. Rey Fenix does it standing, and it was just because.
Is it Canadian destroyer or just destroyer?
I think the full name's a Canadian destroyer, but it's referred to as a destroyer most commonly. But I think it'll be referred to as a Canadian destroyer if you're looking for it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, I'm just seeing Canadian destroyers.
So let's see. Yeah, so it's a pile driver that starts off with a flip. So Rey Fenix starts off this move as a Hurricane Rana, then turns it into a destroyer, which was absolutely amazing. It also does a really cool Spanish fly, which is where both men are basically side by side, and then they backflip off of the top rope. That's all I've got, man. Just oof. They put on a tremendous show. Rey Fenix picks up the win. Commentary was absolutely fantastic throughout the entire show, but through this match especially, with Eddie Kingston there as well. Unfortunately, Rey Fenix did win the match, but backstage has it that Rey Fenix suffered an injury and had to relinquish his victory to Penta, which means Penta will face Kenny Omega next week.
Yeah.
It happens. Especially if you're pulling out moves like that, you risk injuring yourself.
Well, hopefully Penta will put on such a good match again.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kenny can as well. So
Definitely. So we have the Dark Order backstage leading up to Hangman versus Colt Cabana for their round 1 match. We've got Reynolds and Silvers being interviewed while Colt Cabana stands in the background. Reynolds is hyping up the tag team eliminator tournament that they've got coming up later in the night. Cabana jumps in and then starts to hype up his match with Hangman, which is like the next match. Like, he has probably more right to be talking than Reynolds and Silvers. John Silvers then gets right in Cabana's face and says that he doesn't like him, they're not friends, the Dark Order don't like him, but he will become the AEW champion. They'll become the tag champions, and Mr. Brody Lee will become the TNT champions. And all this while Cabana is just looking, smiling, almost as if he can't hear what he's saying. He's just kind of like smiling and nodding, even though he's been told that he's hated by the Dark Order.
That's us, by the way.
Yeah, that's us. So yeah, W Factor did sign up to join the Dark Order. We've not been called into action, but
We will be soon.
Mr. Brody Lee knows where we are.
If need be, we'll use our Twitch presence or whatever.
Yeah. Our Twitch presence and the fans on social media that seem to think that we are AEW and we get to decide who wins this tournament, such as Kenny Omega, which we did decide. I mean, that was us.
Yeah.
Completely, that was us.
And Dark Order, the strongest foes. And
definitely. Dark Order versus Retribution, no contest at all. Hurt Business, yeah, get them involved if you want. So John Silvers then goes mental and storms off chanting Brody, Brody, Brody. Colt Cabana goes for his match, and the interviewer looks at Alex Reynolds, who just says, I'll go get him, I'll go calm him down. So yep, Cabana versus Hangman Page. Out of the tournament so far, this was probably the weakest. Even though Kenny Omega did squash Sonny Kiss in a minute and a half, it just had more of an impact than this match had.
Okay.
I do like watching Hangman work. I like watching his buckshot lariat, which is where he front flips into the ring and then clotheslines with such momentum. It's always very cool to see. So he buckshot lariats. Colt Cabana picks up the victory, moves on to the next round. So it will be Hangman versus Wardlow next week. To see who goes into the finals at Full Gear. There we go. We then have Team Taz, who are standing just outside of the ring with cameras and mics. Starks. Team Taz, the whole Team Taz are basically challenging Will Hobbs because they have asked him to join Team Taz and he's not got back to them yet. So like, come on man, what's your answer, or do we have to settle this in the ring? Taz says that he went into Tony Khan's office and after Starks had beat Allen a few weeks back. No, sorry, I think I've taken that note down wrong. Allen beat Starks, and that's why Allen has a TNT title opportunity at Full Gear. And Tony Khan's like, yeah, that would have been Starks if it wasn't for losing this match. And Taz just starts shouting at the camera, like, I know it would have been Starks. It was pretty cool. Starks takes the mic and calls out Darby for another match and threatens to kill him. Calls him a half face painted little bitch. They walk out and JR welcomes the steak dinner that everyone's been waiting for. So here we go, people. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get a bit more comfortable in my chair here for this one. Le Dinner Debonair. MJF and Chris Jericho are both sitting at a table. A waitress appears, introduces herself as Velma with a V. Asks MJF if he's enjoying his red wine. Sorry, creaky chair. Asks MJF if he's enjoying his red wine. MJF calls her Thelma with a TH, to which Chris Jericho stops him, corrects him, says that it's Velma with a V. MJF responds with, oh yeah, sorry, I completely understand, and then proceeds to call her Thelma with a TH again. They order their steaks, but they keep trying to one-up each other by changing the temperature of their steaks. So MJF orders his well done, Chris Jericho orders his medium well, then it's medium, then it's medium rare, and then Chris Jericho finishes it by saying, I want it blue, also known as bloody rare. So they talk about, you know, why are they trying to do that to each other, why are they trying to square up against each other, let's just get to the fucking point. And the music starts, they start their wee song, a really entertaining segment, like probably the funniest thing that I've seen in wrestling in such a long time. I've taken a note of it as the GOAT and the not far off GOAT.
Yeah.
MJF is not far off becoming such a memorable face in wrestling. AEW has definitely given him the opportunities that he needed to get right in the limelight of people. They close off the song. Chris Jericho is tired, but that's, you know, all things considered, the man did just sing an entire song. He would have had to have learned the song, and there is choreographed dancing involved, so Chris Jericho is like breathless. They sit down, their steaks are brought out to them, and they start poking their fingers at the steaks, realising how undercooked they are. And then both MJF and Chris Jericho are like, I can't eat this, it's too undercooked, it's disgusting. They then call over Velma, however, Chris shouts Velma and MJF shouts Thelma. And it's, again, just funniest thing I've seen in wrestling in a long time. Absolutely tremendous. Both guys are absolutely amazing. Chris Jericho's always been amazing. And MJF is definitely climbing the ranks to get to Jericho's level.
Yeah. Fast.
Yeah, fast, very fast. We then have a little vignette where Steve-O from Jackass opens up Darby Allin's segment. Darby Allin climbs into a body bag at the top of a skate ramp, says that this is the typical Jackass stuff. It's like, oh, my name's Darby Allin and this is the body bag rolling. He then just rolls himself down a really tall skate ramp. You know, you can hear the thumping of his body hitting off the hardwood and stuff. Steve-O opens up the bag. Darby Allin climbs out and says that he's winning that belt at Full Gear. Not really sure what they're trying to get at here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, weird, probably unnecessary, but again, Steve-O just appeared in AEW in a segment. The man wasn't really promoted as Steve-O. It was just kind of like, there is a...
Yeah, but like,
that's Steve-O.
It's just promotion and like having popular people on your show. Like, WWE don't do that.
Do they not, though?
They have had Trump.
They have had Trump.
But we're talking about like recently. Last like 5 years. Can you remember like anyone?
Celebrity-wise, no. But when they have other wrestlers like legends, the commentary team will like explode in their seats if Mark Henry's backstage. Whereas none of the commentary were like, oh my god, it's Steve-O!
Yeah, but like, it's not like they're meant to. This is just...
No, they're not
it's
meant
just
to,
a,
but it's...
a celebrity is just who wants to do something in wrestling. And like, surely if he's like a cool guy, he would work with the company, he would get fans interested, then that should be okay.
Oh no, I'm not. It's
like,
absolutely okay. It's just, I don't know. I think I'm so used to the commentators going mental whenever there's a celebrity or somebody famous there. That when he wasn't even introduced as Steve-O, I was kind of like, no, they're not even going to say anything. Okay, that's fine. So we close off the show then with the 4-team tag match that we've been referring to. Butcher and Blade come out first, and they bring Bunny, who is the third member of their team. Somehow Eddie Kingston has managed to get her to ditch the Nightmare family and rejoin Butcher and Blade. This was a reveal on AEW Dark that they recap on Dynamite. I didn't watch Dark this week, so I didn't know this had happened until now. We then get Private Party that comes out with Matt Hardy, Reynolds and Silvers come out, FTR come out, join commentary, and then the Young Bucks come out and finish it off, which I thought was weird to have your champions come out and then your last set of competitors. Congosaurus had just jumped in the chat box there to say that they didn't really introduce... Well, did they introduce Tony Hawk when he did the vignette with Darby as well? No, they didn't, and I'll be honest, I've only ever really seen... The most frequent I've ever seen Tony Hawk is when he is a video game character in the Pro Skater game, so when he was in that vignette, I didn't know who it was until I was like, that guy looks so familiar. Oh, that's right, that's Tony Hawk.
I'd say... Yeah, they might need to make an effort and like give them like showing who people are, like a title card.
Yeah, just something that comes along the bottom of the screen or something like Steve-O, Tony Hawk. But no, anyway. So the tag match, I thought it was weird that the champions come out before the last set of challengers, but whatever. Commentary was again quite good because FTR are on commentary with the whole team, like JR, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone are all there. All 4 teams put on a hell of a performance. The Young Bucks really go over and above to try and remind people why they were so popular. Mark Quinn of Private Party does a few kicks that don't hit anything, and he's exposing the business. It's just the camera angles. The camera angles were very unfortunate, where he done a super kick and there was like 4 inches in between his foot and the Young Buck's face. But you still have to sell it, like, don't be a dick, but at the same time, just move a wee bit closer if you're going to do a kick like that.
This is things that people in the front row seats would see anyway. So like, it's just unfortunate for the people at home, but like, people, once you go to like an actual wrestling match in person and you're up close, you're gonna realise this stuff anyway. Yeah. That's why in Japan they're quite hard to hit as well, because they're really close to the ring.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, because they're so close. Like they're hanging on to the apron as you're competing. So you need to kind of hit each other hard to make sure it looks real. Now he does redeem himself, Mark Quinn. He does redeem himself because he does like a shooting star press from the top rope. And the height he gets on, that's absolutely tremendous. Like, he gets about 15 feet of air or something like that. It's really cool. Sammy Guevara attacks Matt Hardy at ringside. Silvers and Reynolds try and recruit Butcher and Blade middle of the match. Bunny distracts them. Butcher and Blade then take them out. FTR said that he's the only one that thinks Cash Wheeler of FTR says, is he the only one that thinks Silvers looks like a hamster? That made me laugh. The Young Bucks pick up the victory. FTR get in the ring with a masked assailant who assists them in beating up the Young Bucks. They then put Matt Jackson's leg in a chair and they jump on it, and commentary believe that the leg is now broken. He also takes a massive punch to the face and it busts open his nose. The masked man then turns out to be a 60-year-old Tully Blanchard. They then wander off and close the show. So that was Dynamite. So we'll quickly cover SmackDown because it was a pretty shit one this week.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns introduces the world to the consequences that Jey Uso is going to face at his I Quit match at Hell in a Cell. If he quits, he's no longer part of the family. His wife is no longer apart from the family. His daughters, his sons, whatever children he has, his children's children are no longer going to be part of the family, and that goes the same for his brother Jimmy, because he was involved. So there we go. if Jey Uso quits at Hell in a Cell, he is no longer part of their Samoan tribe and have to acknowledge Roman Reigns as the leader of the family. We then get the segment I referred to earlier on, where it's a courtroom that has the Money in the Bank contract on the line. Miz is trying to prosecute Otis because he's not using his opportunity as the Money in the Bank contract winner to cash it in. He's also embarrassing himself week on, week out.
But people have held it for like nearly a year, so I
Yep.
think it's only been like a couple of months.
Yep.
Oh well.
So the judge for this court hearing is JBL.
Okay.
Ron Simmons is the bailiff. Ron Simmons is the black guy from the Acolytes.
Yeah.
Who'd be like, damn!
Mm.
And Teddy Long is the stenographer, the person that types up everything that's said during the court case. So, yep, funny, but not funny enough to save SmackDown, unfortunately.
Just like good for what it was, but not. Doesn't say.
Yeah,
that.
it's ruled in the favour of Otis. He gets to continue holding the Mr. Money in the Bank contract, which is like, of course. Like, there's no reason he shouldn't be holding it. He's won
Just
the
felt like
fucking
a time filler.
That was his argument. It was like, why do you feel you deserve to have the contract? And he was like, well, Your Honour, I won it
Yeah.
at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And then he's like, okay, interesting. And Miz, why do you feel you should hold it? And then he goes on about how he held it 10 years ago and it was the most prestigious thing and he cashed it in and he won it and stuff. So basically the Miz wants it, but the Miz doesn't want to work for it.
Mhm.
So
It works well for his character.
yeah.
It's just it felt like he could have done it better.
Mhm.
It just makes him
No,
like a bit weak.
exactly. So, yep, Judge JBL rules in the favour of Otis, but the Money in the Bank contract goes on the line at Hell in a Cell, which we'll move on to now because that was all I had to say for SmackDown. It was that bad.
Yay!
Hell in a Cell then, such an evil looking pay-per-view. What do you think of that logo?
I think that's good.
That's a really cool logo. Do you know who sponsored Hell in a Cell?
Who?
Skittles.
Great, very evil.
Taste the rainbow, put the rainbow in a cell. Yeah, so they have obviously
Snickers or Skittles.
yeah, something like taste the nuts, something like that. But
I Terminator would work well.
the
and
Terminator one would be good. Except what would they promote?
Terminator.
Terminator Dark Fate,
Well,
the shittest of Terminators. They have obviously anyone who's watched our past episodes, especially the pay-per-view ones, we hate the 3D graphics that they play.
Oh yeah.
The sort of hologram things. So the hologram or the 3D graphics for Hell in a Cell are like these creepy crawly fingers, and then there's tentacles and there's fire and
Tentacles. What?
yeah, there's like tentacles and then there's claws and large like long Slenderman fingers and shit like that, and then it just says at the bottom Skittles.
Great.
So weird. We start off with the opening match of the show, which is the Universal title. Now, I don't like it when the champion comes out first, but when you defend the belt first, like the first match on the card is one of the two main belts in your company.
Like the reason why you're
Fuck.
watching the show and all that.
I mean, you've got, how many, what did they have? They had two feud matches. They had Otis versus The Miz, and they had, I don't know why I'm struggling to think, I can just look through my notes here.
I'm struggling as well.
They had Jeff versus Elias and Miz versus Otis, and then Lashley versus one of the Retribution guys. Now Lashley did make that a US title match, but come on. Come on. Two matches that didn't involve belts and then one match that involves a mid-card belt. Why would you not put one of them on first? But
Like, especially like Bobby and Retribution, you'd put that on very first.
yeah.
But no, Roman Reigns, I don't know, it felt, must have been like an editing thing.
Not sure, but what I will say is the match itself made me slowly forget about where it was on the card because of how good it was.
Yeah, I didn't really take a peek at it because it was the storyline.
It's the storyline that we haven't really cared much for because it's not given us any reason to care for it.
Mm-hmm.
However, Jey Uso puts on one hell of a storyline performance. Roman Reigns puts on one hell of a storyline performance. Every time Roman Reigns knocks Jey Uso to the ground, he circles him like a hunter, like a lion. Hunts circles its prey. Awesome.
Yeah, I guess like Roman can play that character where like he is the hunter and all that, but he needs a Paul Heyman, and that's my issue with him. Like a character that needs a Paul Heyman or a wrestler, I'd say, is just not a wrestler, because although Paul Heyman makes him enjoyable, they don't have the mic techniques to go with it, and that was my issue with Brock Lesnar as well. He's boring. He's just a strong big guy. He is an obstacle, and that's what Roman Reigns is looking like. He has done good. The whole family, the top of the table, is interesting, and he does it well. But this is only him really starting this whole.
I think
doing a character
because Paul Heyman was outside of the cell, not really doing much to influence the match. It was a lot better.
Okay.
I do have to say, yes, Roman Reigns acted his ass off, wrestled his ass off, and he didn't have any interruptions from Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman spoke a couple of times, but that was about it. That was all they really did. Roman Reigns has like a golden wrist guard on. Now,
cool,
at first I thought that was a wrist injury, but I got a closer look and it just looks like the Infinity Gauntlet.
Is it like armour?
I think it's like punching gloves. They're like padded at the knuckles and padded at the wrists, but they're not for an injury. They're just for fighting, basically.
So kind of like his vest, his like bulletproof like kind of vest thing.
Yeah, that's gone now completely.
I liked that look.
I liked it, but I'm glad that it wouldn't suit him now. He needs to be somebody different now. So Roman Reigns, great performance. There's a point where Jey Uso has a leather strap wrapped around Roman's neck. Roman's passes out. The referee tries to split them up. Jey Uso for a second believes that he's quit or that he's won the match. Roman Reigns then shoots straight back up. We get like 3 or 4 spears, which all looked pretty cool.
But it's a finishing move.
It's a finishing move that doesn't finish. Well, it's a finishing move that would finish a pinfall match. Because you can't win by pinfall, I suppose you would use it. You wouldn't overuse it, but you would use it a bit more.
Was it like just a spear in the open, or did he hit him? Like, did the spear make him collide?
There was one spear where Jey Uso was running towards him anyway, so like they ran at each other, and at the last minute Reigns turned it into a spear, which was cool. Then the second time Reigns came off the ropes and turned that into a spear, but the other 2 times were just like straight on your bog standard spear.
You can, I don't like in a match like that. Of course, using spear's good, but like spear him into a wall.
Spear him into the cell.
Spear him into like steps or something, or like. Does Jey do any like high flying moves, or like?
Jey does a couple of like big splashes from the top ropes.
Does he all like go on the ropes?
The ropes themselves, no. The turnbuckles, yeah, but
just spear him on the rope or like on the turnbuckle. Cool. Yeah. Just do something, but like, how many times did you do this Superman punch?
Oh, twice.
Twice.
If I remember correctly, twice.
Okay,
yeah, the Superman punch was quite sort of once at the beginning and once kind of close to the end. The referee as well. The referee was acting his ass off. The referee genuinely made it seem as if he thought someone was going to die tonight.
Refs seem like better actors than wrestlers sometimes.
Sometimes they seem pretty good. So we get a point where Jey Uso is out completely unconscious, and Roman Reigns is like, Jey, say it. Just say I quit. Say I quit and this is over and done with. The referee's like, Jey, just say it, man. Please just say I quit. So, he doesn't quit. Roman then gets the steel steps, puts them on top of his face as if he's going to like decapitate him. We then get outside interference from 3 referees, Sam Roberts and Adam Pearce have to get involved to try and separate them. But Roman's like, no man, listen, I know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna do something I don't have to do. He's made me do this. You know, I'm the good guy here. I'm just trying to prove. I'm just trying to get respect. All the while, Paul Heyman is not really saying much. He's maybe shouting, "Jay quit," or "Jay just say you quit," something like that. Not really going mental. He goes to smash Jey Uso's unconscious body with the steel steps, and Jimmy Uso appears. He then says to Roman to put down the steps. Roman puts down the steps. He says that whatever hell he's going through, they can go through it together. You know, their family. Whatever's happened has happened. Let's just move on from that. And Roman starts to cry. Proper tears. And he's like, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know what's happened to me. I'm so obsessed with becoming the top. And I don't need to. And I'm putting myself before my family. And he's proper bawling his eyes out, man. Like, emotional stuff. He then goes completely evil again. Puts Jimmy in the guillotine chokehold. And all this while, Jimmy's like clutching at Jay's trouser leg to try and get him to become conscious again, and eventually he wakes up, tries to separate them, and he's like, I quit, and the referee rings the bell. Roman lets go of Jimmy's fucking neck. Poor guy looked like he was going to die as well. So that's it. Jey Uso quit. He's no longer part of Roman's family. Roman's tears are just wiped away. He gets up, he smiles, he grabs his belt, he walks towards the top of the entrance ramp where he's met with his dad and uncle, who are the Wild Samoans, wrestling legends way back when, Afa and Sika, and they give him one of those flower, I think they're called like a lei or a leia or something like that. They give him one of them, and that's him. He's top of the table. Jimmy and Jay are no longer part of the family. I loved this match. I still wouldn't have put it at the first match. I still wouldn't have made it first match in the card, but I loved this match.
I think that it's probably not ended yet. I think Jim and Jay are gonna get some sort of redemption kind of thing going on. But I didn't watch all this match. I'm gonna watch it now after what you just said.
I would watch this, and I would watch the McIntyre and Orton match.
Right.
Skip everything in between, and you'll realise why I say that, because my notes are very brief. Jeff versus Elias.
You don't even need to go over it if you don't want to. But
Oh no, well I'll cover it for anyone that wants it. It's very short. Jeff versus Elias Sampson. Elias comes out, plays a wee ditty in his guitar. Shots fired at Jeff for being an alcoholic or an ex-alcoholic, air quotes. Match itself, nothing special, not pay-per-view quality. Elias grabs the guitar, but Jeff takes it off him and smacks him in the back with it. The guitar smashes. Elias wins by DQ.
Okay.
That's a pay-per-view apparent match.
That is a pay-per-view match.
Miz versus Otis match again was nothing special. Okay. Typical heel Miz, which was good to see. However, Otis was trying to be a bit too funny, doing all of his fucking dancing, rubbing his fat belly, doing the worm and shit. Tucker then smacks Otis with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Miz picks up the win. He is now the new Mr. Money in the Bank, and Otis has been betrayed. We're still not sure 100% why. Tucker refers to it backstage as that no matter what Tucker did, he did it for the team, but Otis always seemed to act for himself. Stupid storyline, stupid characters. I just want to see Miz cash in somebody now. I just don't. I feel like if he cashes in and somebody's going to lose though, just now.
Okay, cash in and Randy Orton, Drew, Randy Orton and Miz in the title scene. Triple threat.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear what they're possibly building to just now though.
Okay.
Oh, well, later, sorry. Bayley versus Banks. Decent video package that recaps the rivalry between the two. Some pretty violent spots that involves chairs, ladders. You do think that Sasha Banks is going to get her neck broken again at one point. However, Banks ends up picking up the victory, ending Bayley's 380-day reign. Congratulations, Bayley, you made it 380 days. I lost track, it was that dull. But Banks wins it, there we go. Lashley versus Slapnuts, Slapjack.
Wait, so it's not even against like Team On?
It's not even against Team Retribution, it's just
Slapnuts.
Well, the guy's called Slap. What did I called him Slapnuts, but his real name's Slapjack, which I thought was Flapjack, because that, to me, that made more sense than Slapjack. So, yep, Bobby Lashley volunteers for the Hurt Business to face somebody from Retribution. We don't find out who it is until the match starts. Bobby Lashley then says, fuck it, it's a US title match. Retribution come out, Slapjack volunteers, Slapjack then taps to the Hurt locker again. Retribution then come out and attack him. Hurt Business then come out and attack Retribution. And Retribution run away again.
Oh, looking very strong.
Ooh, I'm so scared of Retribution. They keep running away.
Why don't they steal belts like what Dark Order done?
Yeah.
Like steal the US belt.
Start setting things in fire again.
Yeah. Just do some cool stuff.
Do something that's better than this.
They've got Jackass in AEW.
Yeah.
Just like get someone else from Jackass.
My name's Slapjack and I'm gonna light myself on fire.
Wild wrestling or something.
Yeah, I would like to see two members of Retribution, one on fire and one constantly being electrocuted by a dog collar, wrestle. So
dog collar match, but just get electrocuted.
An electric dog collar match. So we close the pay-per-view. This was a 4-hour pay-per-view. Fucking hell! But we close the pay-per-view with Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. Still no sword in Drew's entrance attire, which is a shame, but it is what it is. We get a surprise attack from Orton before the match even starts. Orton tries to go for an early RKO, but Drew reverses it, knocks Randy over the top rope. Bit of a beatdown in the outside where both men take turns of being on top. Drew gets hit in the knee with a nasty chair shot. He then goes down like a clown. Randy presses the chair against Drew's jaw, working the fractured jaw injury from before Clash of Champions. Randy cuts off the lock, takes the fight to the outside, except he doesn't actually take the fight, he just walks away, and Drew chases after him, which then proceeds to them to fight outside. Randy goes up to the top of the cell, and he's like taunting Drew, like, come get me. Drew then goes up, obviously, because he wasn't going to wait for him to come down. Drew goes up, Randy hits him with a steel pole thing, like a metal pole. He then starts to climb down. It's very, I don't know, it's like, see if you're going to go up, do something big, don't go up and climb down.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going up... Sorry, chat box there, I was just looking at Congosaurus saying he totally missed the shot of Randy hitting Drew with the pipe. Yeah, the camera didn't go up there with them. The camera was like looking up at them. But commentary mentioned that there was a pipe shot, and then we do get a camera, but it's just a fixed camera. There's obviously no one there manning it. It's just sort of on a tripod or something up high in the arena watching them, so you just see the big Thunderdome logo, and then both of their heads are kind of obscured by the logo because that's where they're wrestling.
That's just weird. What do you think they could have done if they went up?
I don't know, because my instinct is to say that one of them goes through, but that's a very famous Mankind spot.
Yeah.
So then my instinct would falling off is a very famous Mankind that Shane McMahon recreated and stuff. So we do get a moment, right? Just to me, I just thought it was quite silly. Randy feels like he's done enough damage, so he starts the descent down the cell. Drew joins him. They get halfway, there's maybe like 8 feet from the floor, and they start to fight against each other, just throwing a couple of slaps and punches and whatnot, and then Randy pulls Drew and he falls off this 8-foot fall and he lands through the announcer's table.
See the Thunderdome, is it big enough for like someone to jump from one of the Thunderdome screens onto the Hell in a Cell wall? Because what I'm thinking of, like, throwing someone from the top of the Hell in a Cell wall and their back just grinding on it and going all the way down. Or like just try and make that a reality in some way. Because that'll be that's pretty unique. Just like a back being grinded by the wall.
That would be more interesting than what they did anyway. Yeah, I would rather see something like that, something a bit more creative now that you have all these LCD screens surrounding the arena.
Yeah, I could have fought for the Thunderdome as well.
Do something like have somebody fall into the screens and the screens like start to spark and electrocute.
Like they see Kenny Omega while fighting, so one of them just bash her head off Kenny Omega.
Like Booker T. Can you dig it, sucker? And then it's just Drew's face being smashed into the screen.
Then what? We've got to cover this up.
KKK guy just taking off his hood like, oh Jesus, okay, right, okay, fight. Where was I? So yep, the 8-foot drop through to the announcer's table. Nothing spectacular, but I suppose they had to do something. They go back. It's a long walk back to the cell door.
Mm-hmm.
The cell door's on this side. The announcer's table's on the other side. So it's a long walk back to the cell door. They get in the ring. They close the cell door. RKO gets reversed into the roll up. The Claymore kick. Randy avoids.
Oh, a Claymore kick off the top.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't do an RKO off the top because you'd be the one going off the top.
Imagine he'd done that anyway.
Yeah, you do the RKO, the person just falls flat and then you go all the way through the announcer's desk.
No, I mean like you'd take him down with you.
Oh, take them down. Oh my god, that'd be
cool.
No, that'd be dangerous.
Okay, they need to do that.
Somebody has to be willing to die for that. We get an RKO, a cover, a 1-2-3, and the Viper has dethroned Urdru. I don't know. I still believe that this was a storyline that only happened because Edge got injured. I also kind of feel that it was a storyline that could have ended after Clash of Champions.
Yeah.
But they decided not to. Now Randy has the belt. He is now 14 times world champion alongside Triple H and 2 times behind Ric Flair and John Cena. And all 4 members of Evolution have held the belt a total of 50 times. A lot of belt holders. So that...
Yeah. No comment.
That is Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
That was Hell in a Cell. So I realise that we've been going on for an hour and 52 minutes, so we'll quickly wrap up the rest of the show.
Look, before give your rating on Hell in a Cell because
my star rating in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go 3.5 because I like the start. I like the first match. I like the last match, but I do feel the middle matches brought it down.
Okay. So a 3-star out of 5.
What are you thinking?
You
agreeing with?
I'm probably just gonna go watch it again and then decide upon it. But just so we have one right now, 3-star.
Yep, 3-star. I'm happy with 3-star. 3 out of 5 for Hell in a Cell this year. Yep, there we go. So winning show.
AEW.
Yep.
Awa
Dynamite.
They have one of the most unique promos ever.
They definitely did.
Yeah, so...
Now, for the first time ever, we had to vacate the W Factor Championship because we didn't feel that anyone was deserving of it.
Okay.
However, I have 4 suggestions, one of which I'm actually... No, actually, do you know what? I've got 3 suggestions. I had 4, but now that we've actually been through it, I've only got 3.
Okay.
Roman Reigns.
Okay.
MJF. Rey Fenix.
Not MJF.
I was thinking not MJF because it was just
a promo.
As funny as it was,
mm-hmm.
It didn't have the same passion as the other promo did that we did decide to give him the belt when he was doing the presidential campaign one.
Rey, yeah, he's spectacular.
Yeah.
But that was like just a tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all these things I'm hearing about Roman Reigns,
yeah,
which is in a pay-per-view,
mm-hmm.
he's really from what I'm hearing, I'm gonna go watch this by myself probably tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you're saying this, and I'm feeling like this is a turning point for the character, because you're saying that Paul Heyman didn't influence. His acting was good.
Yeah.
His wrestling was good as
Mhm.
well. The storyline is great.
Yeah.
It's up to you, in all honesty.
I'm going to
So-
go Reigns then.
Okay.
I'm going to say Roman Reigns, and exactly for that same reason, it does feel like it's a turning point. We've now seen Roman Reigns without Paul Heyman, because
Yeah,
there
he's
was a
looking
big
good.
fucking fence right in between them, and it worked.
So, how many people have we like gave the title because it's a turning point? We've done Big E,
Big E and Roman Reigns.
Cody.
Oh yeah, Cody. We gave it to Dark Cody, didn't we?
Yeah, and then he went back.
Anyway, oh yeah, he fucking ruined that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bastard.
So that's 3
That's 3 people we've given it for turning points.
really interesting and cool turning points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm excited to watch this match.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they go from it, because I kind of feel that this is their opportunity to fucking ruin it now, because it's WWE.
Yes.
So my recommend a match then, just we'll stick to the Hell in a Cell theme. My recommend a match is going to be The Undertaker versus Edge at SummerSlam 2008. Now, okay, that's not a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, but the match I'm referring to, Undertaker versus Edge, was a Hell in a Cell, and it was, I believe it's ranked number 4 in the best Hell in a Cell matches ever in
Wow.
WWE. So there we go. I would recommend watching that one, people. Other news, I'm just going to...
I just
Oh, yeah.
want to admire the other matches in SummerSlam. The
Great
Great
Khali
Khali
versus
versus
Triple H.
Triple H. GBL, is that Punk?
that'll be JBL versus, looks like Punk, yeah.
Yeah, and then Mark Henry versus Jeff. And then John Cena versus Batista, which actually looks pretty good for the time. It looks like Punk, but like from my distance, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, do you know what? It kind of looks like John Morrison,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's not
what-
John Morrison.
Yeah.
And yes, a really young Matt Hardy taking on Mark Henry for the ECW heavyweight hardcore. I think it's heavyweight. Yeah, but
No,
definitely recommend the Hell in a Cell match between Edge and Undertaker. Other news in wrestling, Kota Ibushi is now a 2-time champion for the G1 Climax in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And he will be using that. The G1 Climax is essentially their Money in the Bank. If you win that tournament, you can challenge the champion at that point. And I believe he's going to be challenging Naito, who is the current... Oh God, I always get this confused. I believe he's the current openweight champion. Or the current neverweight champion. He's definitely one of them. But NJPW is not a show that we review. However, I would love to be able to dedicate an episode possibly in the future to some sort of big event, whether it's the G1 Climax, Wrestle Kingdom, Dominion, anything like that. I think that'd be a great thing to do, because it is something that the West don't really focus on, New Japan, which is a shame. But apart from that, you can get us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch and YouTube. We're going to make sure that all of our episodes are up to date on YouTube. And that is us. Any closing remarks?
It was CM Punk's birthday yesterday.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
42 or something
42.
like that. Yeah. Happy
Anyway,
birthday, Punk.
goodbye.
You won't be back.